And we are live. How is
Yes,
everybody doing today?
yes.
It is a good day to be here this beautiful Sunday afternoon. And we have a great topic as always. And we believe, we hope everybody enjoys it. This is Nathaniel Evans from I'm the Data Podcast. I focus on leadership and spirituality. And I'm with my co-host slash host, Jeannie Muhammad. But this color coordination was her idea, so just let y'all know that. But she can, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll try to stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? So you say, but Jeannie, I'll let you know what's going on with her. You know, and uh, and we get started, guys.
Peace and blessings. It's wonderful to be here with everyone this afternoon. It is, as Nathaniel said, a beautiful day to be alive. I am Jeannie Muhammad, your global happiness expert, and I love to start out our show with gratitude. And today I am grateful for this beautiful day. I'm grateful for just waking up this morning. And as I was going through my morning, um, my husband and I were having conversation, and I decided today to just say I'm grateful for him because I
Hmm.
know I am not the easiest person in the world to live with. I know that. And so I am grateful for him just having patience with me. And so that is one of the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for Nathaniel. Nathaniel is always looking out for me. He is so generous. And I love that about him that what he has, he wants to share with the world. And that is so beautiful. And I'm so grateful for him, for the things that I am learning from him. And so I just want to say, Nathaniel, I take my hat off to you. And again, thank you.
You ain't got no hat. You ain't got no hat on. You know what I'm saying?
See what I mean, everybody? See you
Yes.
see what I mean? You see what
I
I
don't
have to
see no
put up
hat.
with?
I don't see no hat. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely get it. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? You're not talking literally, but I definitely get it. But I'm definitely grateful, as well for this life. Just to be here to experience, the different joys that life brings on a constant basis, from second to second, from minute to moment, from day to day. You know, the world has been created in such a way that something could affect you 2 minutes ago, and then something else could come right after that and actually change your whole perspective on life. We have such a beautiful life that we can actually shift things into different places that actually is even, trying to affect us or even harm us in life. We're able to take these different things and shift the overall dynamic of these different things that happen to us in our lives. As
Right.
Jeannie said, I'm definitely grateful for Jeannie, meeting her on this platform, just as like passing figures across the screen. And next thing you know, we like connected. We got matching colors and stuff now, you know what I'm saying? But, you know,
And we
so,
didn't even plan it.
no, don't let her tell y'all that, you know what I'm saying? But, you
We didn't
know,
plan having the
yeah,
same
that's
colors.
true. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was my little inside joke on Jeannie, but she wouldn't let me get it in. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely grateful, Jeannie. She has a powerful, life, powerful story. She's, going through a powerful journey right now in her life that she didn't foresee months ago. And with that, I would say that, start where you're at. What me starting this podcast has been an eye opener for me. It's basically let you know wherever you are, that's where you start at. There is no utopia. You're not looking for the quick fix of the century.
That's
There
right.
is no instant gratification. All those things are myths, and that's why they made in movies. You see what I'm saying? And our lives at the end
Right.
of the day are not movies. This is not a movie. This is not a script right here. This is not pre-recorded. I'm
That's
live,
right.
guys. Like, I'm live. I'm right here in a moment, talking to you right here, right now. So being grateful for your life, being grateful for all the things in your life. You can categorize them as good. You can categorize them as bad, right? But if you reflect on your life and you go back into different details about your life and different stories, everything that happened to you, you found a strength in that, right? I have people say things to me because I have, this entrepreneur mindset. I have this, leadership mindset where I believe that we all have the right and ability to elevate beyond anything that takes place in our lives.
Right.
And, people would tell me, oh, I'm a mystical thinker, right? I'm not logical in the way that I perform or how I view things in this life, right?
Right.
But I would let them know that everything that I partake in, I don't care what it is, whether you may feel it's big or small, I've learned a lesson out of every single thing that I partake in this life,
Right.
right? Don't let anyone try to shortchange your direction. Don't let anyone try to shortchange the impacts that you may have on your own life as well as the lives of other people,
Right.
right? Be where you at, stay steadfast, right? And enjoy every moment that you have because I'm gonna tell you something, man. There's nothing like getting to a moment in life where you basically totally decrease and you have no one there, you know what I'm saying, to help you. You have no one there, you know what I'm saying, to save you, right? And I do want to go to this next topic, so I'm gonna share what Jeannie had put up in a minute, you know, because we do have our topic on hand, which is the silent killer. Is the silent killer really silent? Me and Jeannie talked about this topic and we was looking to find the right, touch, you know what I mean? So we can actually be able to reach people, but also don't offend anyone in the land. I think that that's really important as we going through our journeys. I'm gonna share a story with y'all that I'm sorry, something is amiss on my side. Let me
Okay.
fix it. Yeah, I'm good. So I'm gonna share a story with y'all. The other day, I was on a train. So I went to get on the train, and it was a woman that was sitting down. And this train station, when I looked around, I saw a couple of individuals, black, white, sleeping in the train station.
Mm.
They had shopping carts and all these different things. They had a whole bunch of clothes with them, and they were just sleeping in the train station. And I sat down to this woman, and I saw her with the shopping cart, with the clothes and everything like that. And then I seen her with a Bible, and I saw her, she was in a, she wasn't really well put together. So my spirit said, when the train come, if permitted, give her a couple of dollars, and then you can go about your way. She probably gonna get something to eat or something to drink. But it was late. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I put some music on. I put some reggae music on to keep me up because I wasn't trying to pass out. I wasn't trying to go to sleep. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm gonna keep something to keep me motivated, keep me energized. And as I'm sitting there, driving to my music, she's in her Bible and she got offended with my spirit because I was jamming to my music.
Mm.
And it was like she was in the Bible, she was studying it, and whatever she was studying, there was no room for other elements of life to intervene or introduce themselves. It was just like what she was studying, maybe she didn't realize what she was studying was bringing something to her. You know what I'm saying? But then
Mm-hmm.
she just got agitated, shift her body, turn her back to me, sucked her
Mm.
teeth. And my spirit was like, yo, just keep your money in your pocket and get on the train. right? And that's exactly what I did, right? Because of the energy that she presented, you know what I'm saying, and her life towards me. You don't even know me. You don't even know why I'm blasting my music is playing or why I'm Bob. You can't hear my music because I got headphones on. You can't hear it. It was just that I was in a different space and she was, and she didn't appreciate my space, but I automatically appreciated her space. But she wouldn't know that because I didn't tell her that, right? And that brings me to my topic, you know, the silent killer. You know, I've been thinking about this thing for a long time because of my background, right? I done walked the hallways of different prison complexes throughout the United States, you know, throughout New York, whatever you want to call it. I done paved the streets, you know what I'm saying, in my communities in Brooklyn. And I saw many, many different things that was out there. You know, I done walked the corridors of many nonprofit organizations, you know what I'm saying, that boast at the fact of bringing forth change for the lost souls that come into their doors. And I've seen something over and over and over again. I've seen the loss of life on so many levels. You know, I've seen great, powerful, strong men just crumble like a bag of potatoes. Right? I've seen powerful women, you know what I'm saying, being thrust out into the world, you know what I'm saying, like garbage and being eaten alive and never able to come out, you know what I'm saying, of these traps that take hold of their lives. And I've seen how a lot of us get lost within ourselves and never come out of it, right? This silent killer that we're talking about is actually known, what we use in the world, as mental health, right? This thing that they have characterized as being mental health is nothing other than a trap that we actually use to entrap ourselves about the lives that we have or that we don't want to have. You know, me sitting on the train with that woman, it was her mental health that wouldn't allow her to connect with me or just take a moment and say, he's happy, he's in a great spirit. I'm in a spirit of anguish. You know, I'm trying to find my purpose again. I'm trying to find my way out of it. You know, let me ask him a story. Let me ask him a question and see what is his path. Right? You know, he looking nice, he's clean, he smells good, he got his headphones on. But is this really who he is? Is this all that he's consist of? Right? Just reaching over and saying, how you doing today? Right? I'm in the Bible, I'm getting a good word out of Proverbs or songs, or I'm reading some terminology about Christ, right? Now let me extend this gift that I'm taking in and just reach out to my fellow person and say, how are you doing today? Right? I want to understand this. Do you have a clear understanding of this or something other than that? And to keep ourselves trapped in, right, is one of the worst things that we can do. I've worked directly with individuals that was labeled, you know what I mean, to have mental health. I've seen the atrocities of this disease over and over and over and over again, right? But like asking your question, this is not for us only, this is for our audience, people that we run into, people that we would never see in life, right? Is this silent killer really silent, right? Or is it a perpetuation of events that brings you to a point of a lot of times of no return, right? Once you get caught in the diagnosis of being diagnosed by someone else that was created in the world just like you, right? Someone actually comes about and plays the act of God, right? They have found this secret pill that was in the land and said, yo, it has your name on it. If you take this pill that I found, but I'm not giving it to you for free, it's a price that's associated to this, right? You're going to be saved if you do this, right?
Right.
And I've been in meetings with psychologists and things of that nature. When I would ask a question as far as, is there holistic approaches to assisted individuals that has been diagnosed, right? What other methodologies can we use to ensure that individuals be able to get back to their full self, right? The fact that I want to be able to enjoy my life, my wife, my children, I want to be able to eat what I want to eat or drink what I want to drink, go different places, explore life. And they would say that there are holistic approaches, but we wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, authorize it, right? We wouldn't tell you, right, to go seek out these other approaches because, they're unconventional. They haven't been well proven, right? There's no stamp of approval from the government. And you look at it and say, for you to create a substance out of nowhere, like I don't even know where you got all these different weird names and stuff like that. Because I used to be HIV tester, I used to have all these type of weird names for drugs and stuff like that. Like, where did you get that? Where did you get that name from? It's not in a dictionary, right? So where did you find all these sophisticated names to add to these different labels that you have to give them a purpose that's greater than man, right?
Right.
As a people, right? And I've been in many places and had these conversations where we don't see the holistic approach to actually helping each other come out of it. Right? This podcast is not just about we pointing out issues. We also talk about solutions to these issues that we actually point out.
Right.
And from my studies on this topic, I've learned simple elements like, Jeannie was talking to me the other day, and she was talking to me about fasting. She said she fast for 30 days straight and don't eat and drink nothing. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that methodology because I used to fast as well, and I still do. But one thing we forgot that there's a lot of benefits to fasting, right? It cures the mind. You know what I mean? It helps you start to reprocess. It brings forth new thoughts and new life to you, right? It gives you a higher sense of purpose, right? And this is a holistic approach that we can actually use towards individuals also that actually been diagnosed with this silent killer. And a lot of men, when we're looking at statistics right now, just specifically talking about just Black men itself, are dying quickly from mental health, right? Because the mental health is also dealing with strokes, right? High levels of depression that leads to suicidal thoughts or also suicidal actions, right? It leads to the point where you believe that you have no value in the world. Have you ever seen a valueless man or a valueless woman?
Right.
Right? What does that look like? What does that look like when you see someone that has no value at all? Right? You're sitting next to them, they got no value. You would have been in this donut shop, right? And you done got you a nice, you know what I'm saying, chocolate donut or something like that. And you enjoying this donut. You like, this donut is good, man. Oh man, I need to go get me another one. Why did I not get two? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you next to this person, and they like, man, forget you and your donut. Like, there's no value in that donut right now that you eating, right? And you're sitting there looking like, okay, well, If I wasn't here, I wouldn't be able to go get that donut,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they're telling you that, forget the donut because even though you're here, it doesn't even matter because there's no value in being here, right? You can do other things with your time than actually be alive, right? There's actually something more important in life than actually being alive, right? When we get to that point of having no value for our lives, this is the message that we're actually sending to life itself, that vibrational force that has created us. We call
Right.
it the Most High, we call it Allah, we call it Yah, we call it all different type of names, right? This superpower, this energy source that said, you know what, I got too much life in me, you know, and wisdom has shown me how to actually translate this life into many different lives that I have, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to make this thing happen,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's like the other day I was walking on a block and I ran into a woman. She had this little chihuahua, and the chihuahua ran up on me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
started barking and like, ah. And I'm talking to the chihuahua like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a person. Like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, I ain't even do nothing to you. Like, I'm just walking down the block, you know what I'm saying? My daughter, like, I didn't offend you. He like, yeah, 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 yeah. And and I just had a great laugh out of it. But what I realized is that this is a life force. This is a being
Right.
that actually made a conscious decision to run up on me and start
Right.
barking at me, to
Right.
jump on my leg, to try to bite my pants and everything like that, right? This is a life force that has made a decision to live,
Right.
right? And it has so many different expressions. The same way we do. We can go to sleep, we can get up, we can eat, we can drink. We can yell, we can lie, we can curse. You know what I'm saying? We can do all these different things because we have this life to do so, right? To step outside of life while we're living life, right? I believe, and it's just my personal opinion, is one of the worst things that you can actually do. It is better to take your billions of dollars and throw them off the roof than to throw your life off the roof.
Oh, Nathaniel, you have said so much. You have given so many wonderful examples of this silent killer. When you were talking, different things were, running through my mind. And I was thinking about this question, is the silent killer really silent? And I'm thinking about the story you gave of the lady and her reaction to you. So the way she reacted, it showed that the silent killer is really not silent. It's exhibited through our actions towards one another. It's exhibited
Mm-hmm.
in our actions towards ourselves. And I was thinking back over when does it start? Where does all this start? And most of us, when we're born into this world, unless our mother uh, had some kind of addiction problem, maybe alcohol or a drug problem or something of that sort, uh, most of us come into this world like a blank slate. You know, we don't have all of these things. We don't have mental problems written on us. We don't come into the world stressed. We don't come into the world with anxiety and all. When we're born, then the environment that we are born into shapes us. Now we may be born into poverty. We may be born into uh uh
Riches.
yeah, it depends. We may be born into a family that is abusive. We may be born into uh uh yeah, as you said, we may be born into riches, but that family may still be dysfunctional. And I don't know, we've got some background noise, and I don't know if it's me or you, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I don't hear nothing on my end because everything is off. I'm in a quiet space.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's not okay. Um so when we're born into this, then that starts to shape us. Our environment starts to shape us in a way that is positive, or it starts to shape us in a negative fashion. Now, I was born into both poverty and abuse. And going through my life, I allowed myself to become a victim of abuse, uh, domestic violence, and all of that. Okay, now through my experience, I decided that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being stressed, living a life, uh, really dual existence, because I was in the corporate world as a manager. So during the day, I presented this business front, this business lady, and then go home. I was going home to physical abuse, drugs and alcohol, and then sleeping it off and waking up the next day. And actually, to be truthful, starting out today drinking and using drugs before I would even go to work, you know. So I was in a mental space that was killing me, killing my mind, my body, and my spirit. I know a lady right now that's a friend of my son's. Actually, she's my son's, the mother of one of my son's children. And he was telling me that she goes to work, and then when she leaves work, she comes home and immediately goes into her room and go to bed. And I told him she's depressed. She's in a mental state of depression, and she's just striving to survive uh by she goes to work because she has to. She survives in that environment, but when she comes home, she goes into this cocoon of depression. Now, how I deal with my depression, and this is where I have started to learn not to be so judgmental about others. Because, at one time I would, especially after I was able to start pulling myself up out of the hell that I was in, then my mental thing is, well, if I can do it, why can't someone else do it? If I'm able to do it. And I heard someone say that when somebody said, well, I pulled myself up by the bootstraps, why can't someone else pull themselves? Some people can't even reach the bootstrap. Some people are so down, so deep in their hell that they don't even know there is a bootstrap. So I had to start saying to myself that I don't know. I don't know
Mm.
your pain, Nathaniel. I don't know the pain and anguish that you have suffered. I don't know what damage it has done to your mind. I don't know the extent that your mind is damaged. You know, I don't know what I could say or someone else could say that might light that spark in you that will start to awaken you to the possibilities of what it is to live. All I
Mm.
can do in this and with this podcast, all I do each time that we do one is that it will reach somebody, that somebody may hear a word that will set a spark, and that spark will eventually turn into a fire that is so huge that they are able to truly see the light. of what it takes to really live, to live. That
Yeah.
that lady you were talking about with the you know, I'm thinking to myself, what is her story? Where has she been? What has
That's
she
right.
suffered? I say, Nathaniel, there but for the grace of God go I. I could have been that lady. I was on
Yeah.
that path. I could have been
Yeah.
that lady. I mean, I'm just so thankful that I never took any drugs that may have been laced with something that affected me mentally. You know,
Yeah. Because I was, I definitely wanted to connect, but it was my spirit actually, is saying like, you have to basically move yourself from harm. Like when you
right,
see these
right. You
harmful
were right.
entities and spirits that come in the land, because these are spiritual forces that's in the land, you think it's a person that you're interacting with. You're interacting with a spiritual entity,
That's right. You
right?
are.
And yeah, and that spiritual entity can actually become so damaged that it alters the state of your mind, alters the state of your heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You become like a sacrificial lamb towards your own life,
And you know
right?
what?
And it
And
does,
that's true. That is so true.
yeah,
That's why it doesn't pay to argue with anybody anymore. It doesn't pay, just like that lady. You really do not know the extent of the damage to her
I
mind.
don't.
In her
Yeah,
bundle, she may have been packing. You don't know. She
yeah,
may,
definitely.
and so that's why we have to be so careful about how we deal with people because we don't know the extent that people are damaged.
Yeah, if you like, I was on a march the other day, and I asked this, one of my colleagues in this agency I be doing, volunteer work for as an advocate. I
Mhm.
asked her a question. I said, if you actually was able to achieve your goal, which is actually to close Rikers Island like completely, and this influx of men and women come back into the land, do you have the other necessary components to assist those individuals with their transition? And she said, what you mean? I said, yeah, do you have housing? Do you have transportation? Do you have money? Do you have clothes? Do you have food? Do you have a agency that connects families back to families and things of that nature? Do you have bereavement counseling, things of that nature, and just all these things? It was a no. And I said, this is mental health in the making, right? Because a lot of these individuals are going to come out and they're going to have no resources to go to. They're not going to have a safe haven, you know what I'm saying, to rest their spirit in, to rest their head on a pillow, right? So you actually create a greater problem in the land by asking for one thing, but not able to produce the many other things that come thereafter. And me having that conversation, it changed my mindset, right? Our mental health is extremely important because, as Jeannie said at the beginning, I don't even know if y'all caught what she said when she first started speaking. She said she allowed herself to go into these states of abuse. She also allowed herself to come out of these different states of abuse that was actually taking place. And, I was having a conversation yesterday, and it was really interesting because I was talking about, let's say a woman that's pregnant, she'd be like, this is my baby. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pregnant and it's my baby that's in the womb. And I said, what's so funny that, you may say that that's your baby, but if you go and get a Sprite and a baby don't like Sprite, the baby like Coca-Cola, right? You're gonna have a hard time because that baby gonna throw all that up. You're gonna spit all that, gonna have you all sick and everything, and then you're gonna be like, you know what? I can't get a Sprite because he or she doesn't like Sprite. I got to get a Coca-Cola, right? You know what I mean? If you say, you know what I mean, I love McDonald's, right? And then you put McDonald's, and the baby said, nah, we don't do McDonald's. We like White Castle. Well, you got to go, you know what I'm saying, and get some White Castle. If you eat this McDonald's, you're going to be sick. I'm going to make sure you get sick if you eat this McDonald's. And I was like, this is a life force in you that's letting you know because it doesn't like everything you like. It's actually causing you discomfort and things of that nature. If you put things in the body that it doesn't resonate with it, that I'm also here. It's not just you. You think that you control me, but I have a presence of light, and I'm telling you what I like and what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you get involved in activities I don't like, I'm gonna start kicking your stomach and let you know, like, listen, man, stop what you're doing, man. Like, what's going on? You're disturbing me, right? So it's like to know that when we come into this life, we come into this life as our own individual beings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's so many things that can attach themselves to us,
Mm-hmm.
that when they attach, they don't just freely just drop off. Like they don't be like, oh, I'm here and I'm only going to be here for 6 months and then I'm gonna just drop off. No,
Right.
once they attach, you gotta purposely come and grab it and pull it off because it's not gonna automatically drop off because you allowed it to attach itself to you,
Right.
right? Whether you allowed it subconsciously or consciously, at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. The only thing that matters is the attachment of it. It doesn't matter how it got there, when it got there, who put it there, how long it's been there. None of those things matter. The only thing that actually matters is how do I remove this substance off of me?
Nathaniel, you were taught that is so true. You were speaking earlier about holistic medicine and holistic treatments. And that brought to mind of a story about my son. My oldest son has PTSD, and for so long, I didn't understand it, and so it was like boy, that's something you cannot see. Actually, when we talk about the silent killer, but
Mm-hmm.
what we allow into our lives, and when for so long, because he was in the army, and he was in a battle zone, and he saw a lot of killing and a lot of atrocity, and so he had PTSD. And we as Black people anyway, we have PTSD. We just may as well understand that the trauma that
Mm.
we as Black people have gone through is in our DNA. Most of us are already traumatized before we even come into the world because of in our DNA as Black people. And if we start to understand that through our experiences that we are traumatized on a daily basis, then and we can start not allowing it to affect us. But anyway, the story, my son, because he does have PTSD, and he went to VA. They offer treatment, and they wanted to give him these drugs because that's the synthetic drugs usually are the answers when you go in for mental treatment or whatever. Like in prison, you have told me stories
Mm-hmm.
about
Yeah.
prisoners that went in with their with great minds and came out as zombies because of these synthetic drugs, and because they do not uh, allow holistic treatments into these different entities. So my son said they prescribed these drugs for him. Now he was working. He said he took the medicine one day and he found himself in the middle of the floor, just going from one, trying to figure out where he was, trying to figure out what he should do next. He was just in the middle of the floor at work, trying to understand where he was. That was
Mm-hmm.
the effect that the drugs had on his mind. And he said at one time he was taking a drug to wake up in the morning. Then he was taking a drug to be able to go to sleep at night. And he started seeing what these drugs were doing to him. And so he stopped taking them, you know. Now, holistically, there are herbs and will that are natural that will help the mind. A lot of times people are deficient of the sufficient vitamins and minerals, and we don't understand what effect that has on our mind when uh, we are depleted of
Mm-hmm.
these natural minerals and vitamins. So until we start taking responsibility, sometimes taking responsibility for our own health, taking responsibility, and of course, there are degrees. That's another thing that I have come to understand. Some people
Yeah.
are so far down and maybe have allowed certain things to affect them that what I'm saying may not even reach their
Yeah,
capacity.
because
Go ahead.
right now we're in a space of economical depression, right? People are going through so many changes when it comes to their economical lives, right? That they're losing grasp on reality, you know, and it's slowly affecting their ability to live, to thrive, right? So you and I, we hanging out, and I say, yo, Jeannie, we about to go buy this fish, this fruit stand. And that apple right there, that apple look good, man. Like I want to take a bite of this apple, right? And I grab this apple, I pay for the apple, we walk in, and I bite into the apple, and it just breaks in my mouth. It's all brittle, right? There's no juice, there's no substance in the apple. It just crumbles like.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be appreciated of that apple? Would I value the apple if it just turned to brittle in my hand and didn't give me the natural resources it's supposed to get to me? Right?
Right.
We can also turn into that type of apple in the land. You know what I'm saying? If we don't give ourselves the nourishment that we actually need. I know that there are billions of issues that we can find in the world that's wrong because we have trillions of people in the world, billions of people in the world. So we can find every issue under the sun to not take care of ourselves, right? To not value, our families, our children, our legacies that we're supposed to leave behind. We can attach ourselves to something or allow something to attach itself to us to tell us, as you say, you have the freedom to live. Like I'm saying, like the things that are coming against us in the world, right? We have to be really careful to not give it more than its substance, right? It
Right.
has to be able to stay, it has to be able to stay on the outskirts many times over. This is why we have these gifts, these natural gifts that have been given to our supreme power of fasting, meditation, working out, yoga, eating healthy, exercise. These are natural things that's actually given to all of us to be able to partake in at any given time that we want to. I've been in many nonprofits, and I've never saw a nonprofit that only focused on holistic care. I never saw it, right? And I'm like, okay, they have holistic doctors, they have holistic approaches, but why haven't I ever saw a nonprofit that totally focused on holistic care within my community? You might have it over in the outskirts, of Alaska somewhere that nobody could get to because it's so cold. You know what I'm saying? But where is it right here in the societies that we live in? We don't want to talk about what they got in these other lands, in these other communities. We want to talk about what's in our backyards,
Oh,
right?
Nathaniel, and you know what? What is in our backyard sometimes is so we can attain it. You were talking about meditation and yoga and all of the see, once we understand the simplicity sometimes of things. See, this society makes things sometimes seem so complicated, so beyond our reach that we don't even strive to reach for it. Simplicity, talking about food. You were talking about that apple. You know, we are taught, and there's a quote that I used in an article that I just wrote, that sometimes we can find more happiness in a pebble than we can in a diamond. It's better to have a pebble that brings us happiness than a diamond that brings us misery. And
Or
this,
your strife.
right. So sometimes simple is better. Okay, when it comes to food, we're taught 3 meals a day. We're taught that 3 meals a day. You have to have 3 meals a day in order to survive. I'm here to say that's a myth. I have eaten 1 meal a day for over 20 years. 1 meal every day, between 4 and 6 every day. And do I look as though I am deprived? I
No.
eat I eat simple. I eat very simple. I don't eat meat. I eat vegetables. I eat fruit, lots of, and it doesn't have to be cost a lot of money. Because if you're eating 1 meal a day and you're eating simple, see,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. If you make a big pot of bean soup, a pot of bean soup, in that navy bean are all the vitamins and the minerals that our body needs. Go look at the minerals and the
Mm-hmm.
vitamins that are just in navy beans by themselves. We can live just on navy beans.
Yeah. We gotta cure ourselves from anything, and I don't care what it is or who it is that seeks to deplete our nature to live on high planes, right? You know, as a black man, and I've been in many, downward spirals, that if I reach out and start speaking about what I'm going through, you know, or I speak about, the nature that I feel like, I'm lost, I don't know what my next move is, right? And a lot of times I've seen in my life, I ran into brick walls when I came to people that I cared about or I thought cared about me to tell them what I'm going through. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, no, you're supposed to be strong enough because you're a man. You're supposed to be able to conquer all these different things. If I was to help you, I would be enabling you. You know, you're supposed to be on a higher plane than me. You're older than me, or you have more education than me, and all these different things. And that actually is, you know, something that actually goes against our nature because we all seek an outlet, right? A lot of times we can become bottled up with stuff, but we need an outlet. We need people that's going to be in our space that actually is not going to be able to judge us, you know what I mean? Not be able to make us so that we can constantly find that balance, find that balance that we need, you know what I'm saying, to survive, right? We're not here just to be here, right? If it was only supposed to be me in the world, it would only be me. Why is it all you other people in the world, you know, and I can't connect to you. I can't find a purpose with you. I can't tell you what I'm actually going through. Like you trying to tell me there's no one in the world that's experienced what I've experienced, not even in my small circle, right? It's just me. Like I'm just this mystical
What?
being that actually experiencing this just by myself. Like you never experienced this. You never went through this type of change before. So you can't give me a substance so I can actually find my way out of this maze that we call life, or these different hiccups that actually come across my path. Like I'm supposed to be this phenomenal giant, right, in the world, and I'm supposed to be your king or whatever it is that you call it. But when I come and say, I need some insight on this, right? Get out of here, right? The Most High says in the Bible, a wise king seeks counsel before he goes to war, right? He just don't sit in his chamber and say, you know what, we're just gonna go to war. I'm not even gonna talk to my cabinet. I'm not gonna talk to the other strong men. I'm not even gonna talk, to the soldiers of the land. We just gonna fight, right? No. You know what I'm saying? You have to seek counsel even when you're going through changes in your mind, when you're going through changes in your life. You have to be able to seek counsel, right? So you can say, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that experienced this reality, right? And who's out there that has the courage, right? That has the courage to step off of that podium, right? Step off of this disillusion that they have for their lives, that they're so great and so powerful. They meet me down here and tell me, listen, man, I've been there as well. These are the steps that I took. You know what I mean? I know a great therapist, you know what I'm saying? I only focus on re-educating and cultivating the mind that I used, you know what I'm saying, for a couple of months. They got a commercial that kept coming on with the Olympic swimmer, Michael Phelps, right? Michael Phelps was talking about him going to a therapist, you know what I'm saying, to help him come through the different things that he was actually going through. So if this phenomenal so-called swimmer was able to go to a therapist to help him channel through life, you know what I'm saying, as he channeled through those waters to win all those medals, right? What makes you think that we don't also have that same right and not allow things to just come and just swarm over us, you know what I'm saying, and then trap us in? It's kind of like somebody take a chain and just wrap it around you and then lock it.
Right.
And they the one that got the key, right?
Mm.
And you got to keep hopping to them and say, "Can you let me out? Can you open up the lock so you know what I'm saying, so I can live free, right?" We have to be able to live freely for our own lives. You know what I'm saying,
Oh,
and know that.
Nathaniel, that is so true. That is so true. You are a black man that's breaking those chains. And that is one thing that you have been saying that resonates with me, because there are so many of our black men do are not have not reached the point where they can admit, I need help. And there's nothing wrong with anyone, man, woman, child, to say, I need help. That's the first step to healing.
Mm-hmm.
Admitting that you are sick, admitting that you do need help. It starts in your mind. It starts in each one of our minds that we need help, and being able to humble ourselves and forget about that ego, being
Mm-hmm.
on that ego and having to appear to be strong, so strong that you do not need help from anyone. And that is one of the things that I so admire about you, Nathaniel, and that I strive to do, is just be humble enough to be vulnerable.
Yeah, that's right, man. Stop playing games. I met a man, and when I met him, he always told me he was a millionaire. He was a millionaire. He's been a millionaire since he's been 18 years old, whatever, whatever. But he never shared with me like how he obtained his millions. I'm a young man. you in your late 70s, and you never say, young man, let me pass on the baton. Let me show you how I did this. You know what I'm saying? So I can help you elevate and grow.
Right.
And he used to always tell me he was a millionaire, millionaire, millionaire. And I would say to him, listen, brother, it makes no sense to be a millionaire if you don't have other millionaires around you, right? Because what happens if you fall from this millionaire status? Who's going to help you rise up? And I would say this to him all the time. And I would say, I got some ideas. I have some things that I could put on the table and we could build on these different things. And unbeknownst to me, he was losing all his millions. He was losing his millionaire status. And I never knew because he never shared it with me. He just constantly telling me he was a millionaire, millionaire, millionaire. And then one day he just came out of nowhere and was like, yo, I lost everything.
Wow.
I don't got nothing now. I'm completely broke.
Wow.
And I was like, the Most High sent me to you when you was in that state of depletion. But because you had this ego and because you had this pride, you know what I'm saying? You allow yourself to just completely fall through the cracks and said, you know what, Nathaniel, let's sit down, let's have something to eat. I'm going through the situation right now. Let me see what's going on with you. Let me see how I can help you. So if something happened to me, you can help to reposition me. And I even
see,
and
wow.
even when he fell, I came back to him and said, listen, man, I have this platform. I believe in this platform. This thing is amazing, right? I'm willing to position you in this platform through me. I don't care if you have millions of dollars. I don't have millions of dollars, but it doesn't matter to me. I have $1 million soul. You know what I'm saying? I believe in my own greatness, you know what I'm saying? And believe that I can move forward and I can do many things in my life, regardless of where I'm at right now. And even, he wouldn't take my help. Right. So it's like,
His ego.
yeah,
Ego.
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I felt as a black man. I'm ashamed that I felt when I got in my 70s or getting close to my 80s, and now, because of that shame, I'm just gonna allow myself, just wallow in this madness that I'm going through. I'm gonna allow this reality. I don't have any money now to actually take its toll against my soul. Right. Instead of, saying, I have a young man here. He's willing to help me. Let me allow this young man to help me get myself back in position. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the worst thing that
Right.
I want to hear is that he allowed this thing to continue to come against him, which is only a source in the world that he attached himself to. He made himself, like, I need these millions, and when I get these millions, it's going to make me a better person. I'm going to be able to go to nightclubs or rent these hotels or buy these type of cars, and it's going to just make life so amazing because I'm able to do all these different things. And just understand at the end of the day, these are folk tales, right? You can go places with your money and still be treated as a nation of men and women that you are. Right. It doesn't. It's not going to change. You get these things to change, the way you live in a land, not how you being perceived in a land by others. You know what I'm saying? This reality of how others perceive you will always change. I go look at the tree and I say, yo, this tree is magnificent. And you go look at the same tree and say, this tree got mad holes in it. You know what I'm saying? You got worms coming out the tree. You know what I'm saying? I see old age with the tree, right? We look at the same tree, but I'm looking just at it as a beautiful manifestation of, like, how did it grow so big, you know what I'm saying, from this one little seed. But you're not appreciating the different levels of growth that one seed had to go through to get to this tall tree, right? You're not appreciating it. You know what I'm saying? So you done lost the whole reality of the beauty of this tree, which is you.
Perception, because see, Nathaniel, in that story, I see you as being the one that was rich or is rich. See, the millionaire, he had money, you know, but to me, he was poor because he had money, but he did not have in his heart and in his soul the richness of life, what gives us life. And that is our
Mm.
love that we have for our fellow human being, wanting to see each other have the richness of life. See,
Yo, you just chills down my body, man, because as you're speaking, I definitely mean to cut you off, man, but as you speaking, I just had like this phenomenal vision, like it's like the Most High was like, "Yo, man, I got all this life in me, man, and I'm gonna share, out in the world like one would share his currency, and I'm gonna create all these different forces of life because I don't want to be the only one that's enriched with life. I don't want to be the only one that want to experience, what I mean, what it is to swim in the ocean. You know what I mean? You know what it is, what I'm saying, to have children, what I'm saying, to what I'm saying, to know love, what I'm saying,
I
to
have
find people that
joy,
you love, to have
peace.
joy, to have happiness, to have peace. Like I don't want to be the only one that's in that space. And when we don't automatically, seek to increase each other in that way, I look at it and what came over me is like we spat in the face of the Most High. Like
Yes.
we say to the Most High, you had the propensity to bring forth life and to give it to us in different levels of abundance. But the abundance that I increased from off your land, off the world that you created, I would share with no one else but me.
And how
So
do we
thank you.
show our thankfulness? How do we show our gratitude? How do we show that is, I'm grateful for my life, so I want to share that. You're right,
Yeah,
Nathaniel. I want to share what God has given me. I want to share that. I don't want to hold it to me. I know that by sharing it, it will increase.
yeah, because and I know we went about time, but just bear with us for a minute, guys. But I'm just saying, like, yo, yo, the beauty of a thing that's called life, man, is the beauty of itself, man. I put a post up on Facebook. A lot of people been, looking at the post, you know what I mean? Life exists because it's life. It's us, man. We're life, you know what I'm saying? We're the life force that exists. It's not anything that you attach yourself to, it's not anything that you allow to be attached to you. None of those things is your life, right? You can go around here and you can try to self-identify yourself and make yourself into this or make yourself into that. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I used to have a saying, when I was young, with my friends. I used to tell them this all the time when I was young. They would get into a lot of problems, they would stir up a lot of things. And I would say to them, like, yo, bro, you love the streets, right? They were like, yeah, bro, I love the streets, bro. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. I want you to pay attention to what I'm telling you, right? The streets don't love you, man, right? If you start bleeding on the sidewalk of the street, it's not gonna take the blood and put it back into your body, right? It's gonna absorb the blood that comes into the earth. And if you just lay there and die, that's what's gonna happen to you on the earth, right? Don't stop giving things your ultimate power, right? Stop believing that all these things that you fight to be connected to, that you dissolve yourself in, it's just waiting for your embrace. Like, I can't wait until she come in this room so I can basically clothe her with my warmth, right? Yeah, you got a heat on there. The heat don't care who come in the room. Whoever come in the room is going to actually obtain that heat. The heat not just for you, right? So stop thinking that because you have created this life that is not on borrowed time, right? Like it just belongs to you, right? Your riches, your wealth, your possessions, right? They don't all belong to you, right? These are things that have been given to us as a gift to see what we do with our gifts that's actually been given to us. Like, how do we bestow these gifts back out into the world once we receive these gifts? I have a friend right now that she's sick right now. She's in the hospital, and she was one of our guests. You know what I'm saying? I was on the show, and she actually wound up having a stroke. You know what I mean? And I was Shawana Vaughn, right? And I was like, wow, you know, she's a powerful woman. You know, she's on all these different platforms. You know, she's trying to make a change, you know, in the land with the post-traumatic prison disorder bill and things of that nature, which has never been passed, right? And something affected her life to the point where she actually caught a stroke. Now, all that work she put into play, it's just sitting right there on the shelf, waiting for her. If she don't get back up, right? If she don't recover from this stroke, if she don't get her voice back that she lost, right? How does she continue to do the work that she was doing?
Wow. Wow.
Right?
On that, Nathaniel, on that, let's go into a moment of wind down. Okay. All right. Are you in agreement? With that, Nathaniel, I am going to start. We don't own the rights to this music, but I would like to use this music for us to start our minds and put our minds in a space of relaxation, opening up our crown chakra, our throat chakra, our heart chakra, our solar plexus, our sacral, and our root chakras. Letting the energy flow into Mother Earth, letting all of our worries from our root chakra flow into Mother Earth, opening up our chakras, letting their worries and anxiety and grief and loss, opening up the channel and letting it flow from us into Mother Earth, opening up our hearts with love and gratitude and thankfulness for this life that we have, opening up our throat chakra so that we can speak our truth and live our truth, opening up our third eye chakra so that we can see and be intuitive to the pain and suffering of others. And from our crown chakra, releasing into the universe this love and care that we feel for others, sharing all of our gifts and talents with others, spreading it into the universe. Thank you. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, universe. Open your eyes close to peace and tranquility over your eyes tonight. Peace.
Peace, guys.